Hello, this is Joe again, and in this video I will be continuing my series on the IMAT 22 work solutions. And in this video I will be providing explained answers for a few questions in the biology section from the IMAT 2022 from question 27 until question 30. Question 30. In this question we are provided with a pedigree and a few information here saying that the condition is dominant and it leads cats to have 6 toes. Which of the following are correct? 1. Cat P could be homozygous for the condition. In order to answer 1, we gotta test it. Since we don't know whether this condition is autosomal or X-linked, we gotta test for both. Now starting with if it's autosomal, P would be A capital, and this guy here would be a small, and we would produce A capital A small for all of them, so all of them would have 6 toes, and this is not the case, so it's not autosomal. So now let's try if it's X-linked. This cat P would be a XX, A capital, and this guy would be XY with an A small, and it's the same. All of the offsprings would have 6 toes, and this is not the case because of this is 3, so 1 is incorrect. Now regarding 2, over 2 generations 12 cats were produced in the crossbreeding. Now this is incorrect because 11 cats are produced in the crossbreeding, and even if you count them, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Don't forget, do not confuse this. It's not a cat that was produced in the crossbreeding. And lastly, regarding 3, breeding cat Q with cat R could produce 3 offspring, each with a different genotype. Now this is like 1, we gotta test it, and we gotta test for both if it's autosomal or if it's X-linked. Now I wrote here if it's autosomal, we have R capital and a Q capital. They have genotypes A capital A small and A capital A small. If you breed them, you will produce 3 different genotypes. Now here regarding if it is an X-linked condition, Q would have XX A capital A small as a genotype, and R would have XY with an A capital as a genotype, because here Q would have inherited an XA capital from the father and an XA small from the mother, because here Q would have inherited an XA capital from the father and the other one the XA small from the mother. So when you breed them together, I'm sorry, here it should be an X instead of a comma. Anyways, so here when you breed them, you will actually produce not just 3 different genotypes, but actually 4. So 3 is the correct answer, and the correct answer for the whole question is 3 only. So question 29, a male child has hemophilia. Neither parent has the condition, which means that the condition, which is hemophilia, is recessive. The parents have a second child. Which of the following statements could be correct about this family? Now before we proceed, you should know that hemophilia is a sex-linked condition. It's a must to know kind of information, and I recommend you to know the other basic conditions, know about them, whether they are autosomal or sex-linked conditions. So 1, there is a 25% chance that the second child is a boy with hemophilia. You can see here that the fourth one, XY with an A small. This is 1 in 4. So this is of course a 25% chance, and the others are 75% chance. So 1 and 2 could be correct, but about 3, I'm not really sure about it. But the way I thought about it in the exam is that if 1 and 2 are correct, then the mother should be 100% carrier. I should point out that in the exam I wasn't actually sure of option 3, that there is a 50% chance that the mother is a carrier, and when I looked at the options I didn't see all of them, option 1, 2 and 3. I just saw 1 and 2 only, so I actually chose 1 and 2 only option, and it was the correct answer. The photomicrograph shows a section of a plant root tip with cells showing different stages of the cell cycle. 5 of the cells have been labeled. Which cell from 1 to 5 shows anaphase? Now, a good mnemonic for anaphase is the word apart, because anaphase starts with an A and apart starts with an A. And in the anaphase, the spindles pull the chromatids apart from each other, and you can see clearly that the cell 2, it's obvious that the chromatids are being pulled apart, so 2 is the correct answer. Question 27. Which of the following statements about photosynthesis are correct? The site of the light-dependent reaction is the thylakoids, and the products of these reactions include ATP and oxygen. Now, this is correct. The light-dependent reaction takes place in the thylakoid, and the products of these include ATP, yes, and oxygen. Oxygen when you split the water. Remember, in PS2, you split H2O into O2 and H+, and the H+ inside the lumen will leave the lumen via the photosynthesis producing ATP. 2. The site of the light-independent reactions is the stroma, right? And the products of these reactions include carbohydrates, right? And carbon dioxide, no. The last part is wrong. The light-independent reaction doesn't produce carbon dioxide. And I think a good way for remembering this information is to memorize the equation for photosynthesis. 3. Chlorophyll that is embedded in the chloroplast outer membrane. No, it's not embedded in the outer membrane of the chloroplast. It's embedded in the thylakoid membrane. And if you want to complete it, you just like to split water molecules. Yes, that is its function. But still 3 is wrong because chlorophyll is embedded in the thylakoid membrane. So that leaves us with option, of course, A. So the answer is like option A, 1 only. Only 1 is the correct answer. In this picture, you can see the light-dependent reaction. First thing, the light hits PS2 and it splits H2O, as you can see here, into O2 and H+. And you can see that like all the H pluses are gonna go through the ATP synthase here to produce ATP. I recommend you to look at this picture more than one time and try to explain it to yourself so it like stays in your mind. It's and it's a high yield topic. It shows up quite frequently in the IMAT. And also pay attention to the location of the molecules. For example, the ATP here end up in the stroma, so does the NADPH. It's not very important, but it's still likely to show up in the IMAT.